Picture this. You're planning your perfect Caribbean getaway, scrolling through endless photos of pristine beaches and turquoise waters, completely unaware that half these tropical paradises are actually complex geopolitical experiments involving everything from tax evasion schemes to independence movements to colonial leftovers that make international law professors need therapy. Welcome back to the channel where we turn vacation planning into a masterclass in Caribbean politics and colonial history. Today, we're counting down the 30 most incredible Caribbean islands you need to visit in 2025. And trust me, the stories behind these palm-fringed paradises are wilder than any pirate movie Hollywood ever produced. From islands that are technically European soil despite being closer to Venezuela than Paris, to nations so small they could fit in Central Park but control more ocean than most countries have land, we're diving deep into the Caribbean's beautiful chaos of cultures, currencies, and constitutional arrangements that would make political scientists weep tears of confused joy. So grab your sunscreen and your passport collection because some of these islands require more documentation than visiting actual countries, while others let you island hop between different continents without leaving the same archipelago. Destination #30, Montserrat, the volcano island that reinvented itself. Starting our countdown at number 30 with Montserrat, the British territory that literally had half its land destroyed by volcanic eruptions but somehow turned natural disaster into tourism opportunity. This place proves that Caribbean resilience can transform even geological apocalypse into adventure travel. The volcanic drama is absolutely insane. The Soufriere Hills volcano buried the capital city of Plymouth under 40 feet of ash and mud in the 1990s, creating a modern-day Pompeii that's now a major tourist attraction. You can literally tour a ghost town preserved in volcanic ash while staying at resorts built in the safe zone. It's disaster tourism with 5-star amenities. The British colonial arrangement is wonderfully weird. Montserrat uses the Eastern Caribbean dollar, follows British legal traditions, and residents are British citizens, but they're also developing a distinctly Caribbean cultural identity while rebuilding their society from scratch. It's like watching a nation get a complete do-over after natural disaster. But if you think volcanic reinvention is dramatic, wait until you meet the island where French sophistication crashes into Caribbean chaos with hilariously expensive results. Destination 29, St. Bartholomew, St. Bart's, French luxury in Caribbean waters. St. Bart's sails into our number 29 spot as the Caribbean island that convinced wealthy people worldwide that paying Parisian prices for tropical cocktails is totally reasonable. This French territory transformed from quiet fishing village to billionaire playground by mastering the art of European sophistication with Caribbean scenery. The French connection is pure colonial luxury. St. Bart's is technically part of France, uses the euro, follows French law, and serves croissants on beaches that make the French Riviera look budget-friendly. Your Caribbean vacation includes French healthcare, European Union passport benefits, and wine selections that cost more than most people's monthly rent. The economic model is fascinating elitism. This tiny island attracts mega yachts, private jets, and celebrities by maintaining exclusivity through astronomical prices and limited accommodation. They've turned scarcity into luxury branding, making St. Bart's the ultimate example of how strategic positioning plus French sophistication equals Caribbean capitalism. From French luxury to Dutch efficiency, our next destination proves that European colonial arrangements in the Caribbean get progressively weirder. Destination 28, St. Martin, St. Martin, the island with identity issues. St. Martin splits into our number 28 position as the only island where you can have breakfast in the Netherlands and lunch in France without a passport check. This 37-square-mile piece of paradise has been peacefully divided between two European powers for over 350 years, creating the world's most relaxed international border. The dual nationality situation is beautifully confusing. The Dutch side, St. Martin, is an autonomous country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands, while the French side, St. Martin, is an overseas collectivity of France. Same island, two currencies, two legal systems, and absolutely zero border formalities. It's like the European Union's tropical experiment in seamless integration. The cultural fusion is incredible Caribbean cosmopolitanism. You've got Dutch efficiency meeting French sophistication with Caribbean hospitality, creating a unique blend where you can pay with euros or dollars, speak Dutch, French, English, or Spanish, and experience multiple European colonial traditions without leaving the beach. But if dual citizenship sounds complicated, our next destination shows what happens when British colonial administration meets American tourism dollars. Destination Turks and Caicos, the British tax haven with American vibes. Turks and Caicos cruises into our number 27 spot as the British territory that feels more American than most U.S. states, while maintaining colonial arrangements that make tax lawyers very happy. The British colonial setup is strategically brilliant. As a British overseas territory, Turks and Caicos enjoys political stability and legal frameworks while maintaining the right to set their own tax policies. The result? No income tax, no corporate tax, and banking secrecy laws that make this tropical paradise very attractive to international finance. The American tourism dominance is total economic integration. Despite being British territory, over 80% of tourists are American, the U.S. dollar is the official currency, and the islands cater specifically to American vacation preferences. It's like Britain's tropical Florida, except with better tax advantages and clearer water. From offshore finance to organic agriculture, our next destination took a completely different approach to Caribbean economic development. Destination 26, Dominica, the nature island that chose ecology over beaches. Dominica rises to our number 26 position as the Caribbean island that decided pristine rainforests and whale watching were better tourism strategies than perfect beaches. This Commonwealth nation proved that sustainable ecotourism can compete with traditional sun and sand destinations. The ecological strategy is pure environmental genius. Instead of building massive resorts and destroying natural habitats, Dominica preserved 90% of its rainforest, created extensive marine protected areas, and developed adventure tourism that actually enhances rather than degrades the environment. It's like the Caribbean's answer to Costa Rica, except with better whale watching and more affordable prices. But if environmental sustainability impresses you, our next destination shows what happens when Caribbean islands decide to become global shipping and finance centers.
Destination number 25, Antigua and Barbuda, the twin island nation with big ambitions. Antigua and Barbuda anchors our number 25 spot as the Caribbean nation that transformed from sugar plantation colony to major international business center while maintaining some of the region's most beautiful beaches. This twin island country proves that strategic economic planning can create prosperity beyond traditional tourism. The economic diversification is impressive small nation strategy. Antigua and Barbuda developed offshore banking, ship registration, and international business services while building luxury tourism infrastructure. They've created multiple revenue streams that reduce dependence on any single industry, showing other Caribbean nations how to build resilient economies. The independence achievement is successful decolonization. Since gaining independence from Britain in 1981, Antigua and Barbuda maintained political stability, developed strong institutions, and created economic opportunities for citizens while preserving cultural heritage. It's a case study in how Caribbean islands can successfully transition from colonial dependency to sovereign prosperity. From Twin Island success stories to our next destination that proves sometimes the smallest Caribbean territories have the most complex international arrangements. Destination number 24, British Virgin Islands, the sailing paradise with offshore secrets.
The British Virgin Islands sails into our number 24 position as the Caribbean archipelago that became simultaneously the world's premier sailing destination and one of the planet's most important offshore financial centers. This British territory mastered the art of combining luxury tourism with international business services. The sailing supremacy is pure geographic advantage. The BVI's protected waters, consistent trade winds, and hundreds of secluded anchorages created the perfect sailing conditions that attract yacht charters from around the world. They've turned their natural harbor geography into a tourism industry that brings visitors back year after year. The offshore finance empire is staggering economic influence. Despite having only 30,000 residents, the BVI hosts over 400,000 registered companies, making it one of the world's largest offshore jurisdictions. Your sailing vacation is happening in waters that facilitate billions of dollars in international business transactions. Ready to see how Caribbean complexity gets even more fascinating? Because our next destination proves that sometimes paradise comes with the most unexpected political arrangements. Destination number 23, U.S. Virgin Islands, America's tropical tax experiment. The U.S. Virgin Islands cruises into our number 23 spot as America's Caribbean territory where you can experience tropical paradise without a passport while enjoying tax benefits that make mainland Americans incredibly jealous. This archipelago proves that sometimes the best colonial arrangements are the ones where everyone wins. The American convenience is unbeatable accessibility. U.S. citizens need zero documentation to visit, the U.S. dollar is standard currency, American cell phone plans work normally, and you get tropical Caribbean vibes with familiar American infrastructure. It's like Florida decided to relocate to the perfect climate and upgrade its beaches dramatically. The tax paradise setup is brilliant territorial arrangement. USVI residents pay no federal income tax to the U.S. government, instead paying equivalent taxes to the local territorial government. This creates American citizenship benefits with Caribbean tax advantages. It's like having the best of both worlds while living in literal paradise. But if American tropical territories impress you, our next destination shows what happens when Dutch colonial efficiency meets Caribbean cultural explosion. Destination 22, Curaçao, the Dutch Caribbean cultural powerhouse. Curaçao colors our number 22 position as the Dutch territory that turned African, European, and indigenous heritage into the most vibrant cultural fusion in the Caribbean. This island proved that colonial history doesn't have to equal cultural erasure when communities take control of their own narrative. The cultural synthesis is absolutely incredible. Curaçao developed Papiamentu, a Creole language mixing Dutch, Spanish, Portuguese, and African languages, while creating architectural styles that blend Dutch colonial design with Caribbean functionality and African aesthetic influences. Walking through Willemstad feels like exploring a Caribbean Amsterdam painted in tropical colors. The Dutch autonomy arrangement is sophisticated political evolution. As a constituent country within the Kingdom of the Netherlands, Curaçao handles internal affairs while maintaining Dutch citizenship benefits and European Union association. It's like having independence with a European safety net and passport privileges. From Dutch cultural fusion to British colonial elegance, our next destination mastered the art of tropical sophistication. Destination 21, Anguilla, the British territory that perfected luxury minimalism. Anguilla glides into our number 21 spot as the British territory that transformed from forgotten colonial backwater to ultra-luxury destination by mastering the art of understated Caribbean elegance. This flat coral island proves that sometimes the most exclusive destinations are the ones that don't try too hard to impress. The luxury strategy is pure sophisticated restraint. Instead of building massive resorts and theme park attractions, Anguilla developed intimate, high-end accommodations that blend seamlessly with natural landscapes. They've created exclusivity through quality rather than quantity, attracting discerning travelers who prefer Caribbean authenticity over manufactured experiences. The British colonial benefits provide perfect stability. As a British overseas territory, Anguilla enjoys political security, legal frameworks, and international recognition while maintaining local autonomy over tourism development. It's a colonial arrangement that actually works for everyone involved. But if British elegance appeals to you, our next destination shows what happens when French Caribbean sophistication meets volcanic drama. Destination 20, Martinique, the French department that's more European than tropical. Martinique erupts into our number 20 spot as the Caribbean island that's so thoroughly French it makes Paris look insufficiently Gallic. This overseas department proves that French colonial integration can create Caribbean territories that are more European than most of Europe. The French integration is complete cultural assimilation. Martinique uses the euro, follows French law, elects representatives to the French parliament, and provides French social services including healthcare and education. Your Caribbean vacation includes European Union benefits, French cuisine, and wine selections that would make Bordeaux jealous. From French departments to Spanish colonial heritage, our next destination shows how Caribbean islands preserve pre-Columbian culture while embracing modern tourism. Destination 19, Puerto Rico, the American territory with Caribbean soul. Puerto Rico powers into our number 19 spot as the Caribbean island with the most complex political status and the most incredible cultural preservation. This American territory manages to be thoroughly Caribbean while maintaining U.S. citizenship benefits that create unique opportunities for both residents and visitors. The political complexity is fascinatingly unresolved. Puerto Ricans are U.S. citizens who can't vote for president, use U.S. currency but compete in Olympics separately, and speak Spanish primarily while being part of an English-speaking country. It's like political science theoretical exercise that became a real place with incredible beaches and amazing food. But if complex political arrangements intrigue you, our next destination proves that sometimes the most successful Caribbean islands are the ones that rejected independence entirely. Destination number 18, Guadeloupe, the French Caribbean butterfly. Guadeloupe spreads its wings at number 18 as the French overseas region shaped like a butterfly that proves French Caribbean integration can create tropical paradise with European infrastructure. This archipelago demonstrates how overseas departments can maintain Caribbean identity while enjoying metropolitan benefits. The butterfly geography is pure natural artistry. Guadeloupe's two main islands, connected by a bridge, create a shape that's visible from space, with Grande Terre offering beaches and coral reefs, while Basse Terre provides rainforests and volcanic peaks. It's like nature designed the perfect Caribbean vacation with built-in variety. The French department status provides European quality of life in Caribbean setting. Guadeloupe enjoys French healthcare, education systems, and social services while maintaining Creole culture and tropical lifestyle. You're vacationing in the European Union without leaving the Caribbean, complete with French bureaucracy and incredible rum production. From French butterflies to Dutch Caribbean party capitals, our next destination shows what happens when European efficiency meets Caribbean celebration. Destination number 17, Aruba, the Dutch island that perfected Caribbean capitalism. Aruba blazes into our number 17 position as the Dutch territory that transformed desert island geography into the Caribbean's most reliable vacation experience. This arid paradise proves that strategic marketing plus consistent weather equals tourism goldmine. The climate reliability is meteorological perfection. Aruba sits outside the hurricane belt with year-round sunshine, consistent trade winds, and rainfall that happens mainly at night. They've basically eliminated weather-related vacation disasters, making them the Caribbean's most dependable destination for guaranteed sunshine. The Dutch autonomous arrangement is political success story. Aruba achieved status aparte within the Kingdom of the Netherlands, gaining internal autonomy while maintaining Dutch citizenship benefits and currency stability. It's independence without isolation, allowing local control with international backing. Ready for more Caribbean political creativity? Because our next destination proves that sometimes the smallest islands create the most innovative governance solutions. Destination St. Kitts and Nevis, the Twin Island Federation with secession drama. St. Kitts and Nevis teams up at our number 16 spot as the Caribbean Federation where one island constantly threatens to divorce the other while both maintain British Commonwealth membership. This twin island nation proves that even successful independence can include ongoing domestic political soap opera. The federation arrangement is constitutional experiment in miniature. St. Kitts and Nevis created a federal system where tiny Nevis maintains the constitutional right to secede from even tinier St. Kitts, making this possibly the world's smallest political union with built-in exit clauses. It's like marriage with prenuptial agreements written into the Constitution. The economic diversification is impressive small nation strategy. Both islands develop citizenship by investment programs, offshore banking, and luxury tourism, while maintaining sugar heritage sites and cultural traditions. They've transformed from colonial monoculture to modern service economy while preserving historical identity. From constitutional experiments to our next destination that shows what happens when Caribbean islands become global citizenship marketplaces. Destination 15, Grenada, the spice island that survived American invasion. Grenada spices up our number 15 spot as the Caribbean nation that experienced one of the most dramatic political transformations in regional history, going from revolutionary Marxist state to American military intervention to stable democracy with incredible beaches and the world's best nutmeg. This tri-island nation proves that sometimes geopolitical chaos creates the most interesting vacation destinations. The invasion history is absolutely wild Cold War drama. In 1983, the United States launched Operation Urgent Fury to remove a Marxist government that had taken power through a bloody coup, making Grenada the site of the last successful American military intervention in the Caribbean. Your spice plantation tour is happening on an island where American paratroopers literally parachuted in to restore democracy. It's like visiting a tropical history textbook with amazing beaches attached. The spice economy is aromatic agricultural genius. Grenada produces more nutmeg per capita than anywhere else on Earth, along with cinnamon, ginger, and other spices that make their local cuisine incredibly flavorful and their export economy surprisingly resilient. Walking through Grand Anse Beach involves breathing air that smells like a gourmet spice cabinet, while the island's spice plantations offer tours that combine tropical agriculture education with historical lessons about how small islands can dominate global commodity markets. The political stability since invasion has been a remarkable Caribbean success story. Post-intervention Grenada developed strong democratic institutions, diversified their economy beyond traditional agriculture, and created a tourism industry that celebrates rather than hides their complex political history. They've turned revolutionary drama into tourist attractions, offering visitors the chance to explore sites related to the 1983 invasion while enjoying some of the most pristine beaches in the Caribbean. The economic diversification strategy is impressive small nation development. Beyond spice production and tourism, Grenada has developed offshore medical education, with American students studying at St. George's University before returning to practice in the U.S. It's like they created a tropical pathway to American medical careers while building a knowledge economy that provides sustainable local employment. But if American military intervention sounds dramatic, our next destination shows what happens when Caribbean islands become the playground for British royalty and billionaire yacht owners. Mustique glides into our number 14 position as the private Caribbean island that transformed from cotton plantation to ultra-exclusive resort where Princess Margaret partied with rock stars and modern billionaires build vacation compounds that cost more than most countries' annual budgets. This Grenadine island represents the ultimate evolution of Caribbean exclusivity. The royal connection created legendary celebrity magnetism. Princess Margaret's 1970s parties on Mustique established this private island as the Caribbean destination for British royalty, rock stars, and international celebrities seeking privacy with luxury. The island's guest list over the decades reads like a who's who of entertainment, politics, and business, creating a reputation for discretion and exclusivity that money literally can't buy elsewhere. The private ownership model is fascinating Caribbean capitalism. Mystique is owned by a private company where property owners become shareholders, creating a cooperative luxury community that controls development, maintains environmental standards, and ensures privacy for high-profile guests. It's like a tropical gated community for the global elite, except the gates are surrounded by pristine Caribbean waters and the community guidelines include architectural standards that would make urban planners weep with envy. The environmental preservation is luxury ecotourism at its finest. Because Mystique caters to ultra-wealthy clients who can vacate anywhere, they've maintained pristine coral reefs, protected wildlife habitats, and created sustainable tourism practices that preserve the natural beauty that attracts their exclusive clientele. It's environmental conservation driven by economic necessity. When your clients can literally buy their own islands, you need to offer something truly special. The economic impact extends beyond the island itself. Mystique's ultra-luxury model influences tourism development throughout the Grenadines, creating demand for high-end services, local employment opportunities, and regional infrastructure improvements. The island serves as a flagship destination that elevates the entire area's tourism profile while providing economic benefits to neighboring communities. From royal playgrounds to revolutionary heritage, our next destination proves that Caribbean islands can simultaneously embrace their complex colonial history while building modern democratic success stories.
Destination number 13, Trinidad and Tobago, the twin republic that invented Carnival and Calypso. Trinidad and Tobago dances into our number 13 spot as the Caribbean nation that gave the world Carnival, Calypso music, steel drums, and some of the most vibrant cultural celebrations on the planet while building a petroleum-based economy that makes them one of the wealthiest countries in the region. This twin island republic proves that cultural creativity and natural resource wealth can create incredible destinations. The cultural innovation is absolutely legendary. Trinidad literally invented modern carnival, transforming colonial Catholic traditions into explosive celebrations of freedom, creativity, and cultural resistance that influenced festival culture worldwide. The steel drum was invented here from discarded oil barrels, creating musical instruments that turned industrial waste into artistic expression. Your carnival experience isn't just a party, it's participating in cultural traditions that represent centuries of creativity born from the fusion of African, Indian, European, and indigenous influences. The petroleum economy creates unique Caribbean prosperity. Trinidad's oil and natural gas reserves provide economic independence that most Caribbean islands can only dream about, funding infrastructure development, education systems, and social services while reducing dependence on tourism. It's like having a Caribbean Norway, except with better weather and way more exciting music scenes. The demographic diversity is incredible multicultural synthesis. Trinidad's population includes descendants of African slaves, Indian indentured workers, Chinese immigrants, Lebanese merchants, and European colonists, creating a society where Hindu temples, Islamic mosques, Christian churches, and Afro-Caribbean spiritual traditions coexist within miles of each other. Your vacation involves experiencing one of the world's most successful examples of multiculturalism in practice. The independence success story is inspiring Caribbean sovereignty. Since independence from Britain in 1962, Trinidad and Tobago built stable democratic institutions, developed their natural resources responsibly, and maintained cultural traditions while embracing modernization. They've proven that Caribbean nations can achieve both economic prosperity and cultural preservation when they control their own destiny. The regional influence extends throughout the Caribbean. Trinidad's carnival traditions have been exported to Caribbean communities worldwide. Their music influences global popular culture, and their economic success provides a model for other resource-rich Caribbean territories.
The island serves as a cultural and economic powerhouse that elevates the entire region's international profile. But if cultural powerhouses impress you, our next destination shows what happens when Caribbean islands master the art of turning pristine natural beauty into sustainable economic development. Destination 12, St. Lucia, the Piton paradise with volcanic drama. St. Lucia soars into our number 12 position as the Caribbean island dominated by the iconic Pitons, twin volcanic peaks that create the most photographed landscape in the Caribbean while anchoring an economy built on sustainable luxury tourism and agricultural exports. This windward island proves that dramatic geography plus smart development equals tropical paradise. The Piton's UNESCO recognition represents global heritage protection. These twin volcanic spires rising directly from the sea create landscapes so spectacular they earned World Heritage status, protecting not just the peaks themselves, but the entire marine and terrestrial ecosystem surrounding them. Your sunset photos aren't just Instagram content, they're documenting protected world heritage that represents millions of years of volcanic activity creating impossible beauty. The volcanic soil fertility creates agricultural abundance that most Caribbean islands envy. St. Lucia's volcanic origins provide incredibly rich growing conditions for cocoa, coffee, bananas, and spices, creating export agriculture that reduces dependence on tourism while providing authentic agritourism experiences. The island's chocolate tours take visitors from cocoa trees to finished products, showing how volcanic soil creates some of the world's finest chocolate while supporting local farming communities. The sustainable tourism model is Caribbean environmental leadership. St. Lucia developed eco-luxury resorts that work with rather than against natural landscapes, marine protected areas that preserve coral reefs, and cultural tourism that celebrates rather than exploits local traditions. They've proven that environmental protection and economic development can be mutually reinforced when planning is done thoughtfully. The independence achievement since 1979 shows successful decolonization. St. Lucia transitioned from British colony to sovereign nation while maintaining strong institutions, developing their economy strategically, and preserving cultural heritage. Their parliamentary democracy functions effectively, their economy has diversified beyond traditional agriculture, and they've become a regional leader in sustainable development practices. The cultural synthesis blends French, British, and African influences into distinctly St. Lucian identity. The island changed hands between France and Britain 14 times during colonial period, creating unique cultural fusion where French place names coexist with British legal traditions and African cultural practices. Your vacation involves experiencing centuries of cultural evolution that created something entirely unique in the Caribbean. From volcanic elegance to colonial elegance, our next destination shows how British Caribbean territories can maintain royal connections while building modern democratic societies. Destination 11, St. Vincent and the Grenadines, the volcanic chain with sailing paradise. St. Vincent and the Grenadines charts into our number 11 spot as the Caribbean nation that combines active volcanic landscapes with some of the world's premier sailing waters, creating destinations that satisfy both adventure travelers and luxury yacht enthusiasts. This multi-island state proves that geological diversity plus marine geography equals incredible vacation variety. The volcanic activity adds geological excitement to tropical paradise. La Soufriere volcano on St. Vincent remains active, with recent eruptions in 2021 creating dramatic landscapes and reminding visitors that Caribbean beauty often comes with geological power underneath. Your hiking adventures involve exploring volcanic craters, sulfur springs, and lava formations while enjoying tropical climate and pristine beaches. It's like vacationing on a living laboratory of geological processes. The Grenadine sailing reputation is legendary among yacht enthusiasts worldwide. The chain of 32 islands and cays provide protected waters, consistent trade winds, and secluded anchorages that create perfect sailing year-round. The annual regatta attracts international competitors and luxury yacht owners, making these waters a showcase for both traditional Caribbean sailing culture and modern marine luxury. The independence story since 1979 represents successful small nation sovereignty. St. Vincent and the Grenadines built stable democratic institutions, developed their marine resources sustainably, and maintained cultural traditions while embracing modernization. They've shown how multi-island nations can create unity while respecting individual island identities and economic specializations. The agricultural heritage includes some of the Caribbean's most successful crop diversification. Beyond traditional bananas and sugar, the islands produce arrowroot used in computer paper, breadfruit, and specialty crops that create export income while preserving agricultural landscapes. Your farm tours involve learning about sustainable agriculture that feeds local communities while generating foreign exchange. The marine conservation leadership protects Caribbean biodiversity. The Tobago Cays Marine Park preserves coral reefs, sea turtle nesting sites, and fish populations while providing sustainable tourism experiences that fund conservation efforts. Your snorkeling adventures contribute to marine protection that benefits the entire Caribbean region's ecological health. Ready for even more Caribbean complexity? Because our next destination proves that sometimes the most beautiful islands come with the most fascinating political arrangements.
Destination number 10, St. Barthélemy, St. Bart's, the billionaire's Caribbean hideaway. St. Barthélemy anchors our top 10 at number 10 as the French Caribbean territory that transformed from quiet fishing village to the most exclusive destination in the Caribbean, where mega yacht berths cost more per night than most people's annual vacations. This tiny island represents the ultimate fusion of French sophistication and Caribbean exclusivity. The French territorial status creates European luxury in tropical setting. As an overseas collectivity of France, St. Bart's uses the euro, follows French law, and provides French social services while maintaining local autonomy over tourism development. Your Caribbean vacation includes European Union benefits, French healthcare access, and wine selections that rival anything in Bordeaux, except you're drinking them on beaches that make the French Riviera look ordinary. The billionaire playground reputation attracts global elite who value privacy and luxury above cost considerations. St. Bart's has become the Caribbean destination for tech moguls, entertainment celebrities, and business leaders who want tropical paradise without crowds, paparazzi, or anything resembling budget tourism. The island's exclusivity is maintained through astronomical prices, limited accommodation, and social dynamics that naturally filter for ultra-high net worth visitors. The environmental preservation results from luxury tourism economics. Because St. Bart's caters to clients who can vacation literally anywhere, they've maintained pristine coral reefs, protected natural landscapes, and created sustainable practices that preserve the beauty that attracts their exclusive clientele. It's environmental conservation driven by market forces. When your guests own private islands elsewhere, you need to offer something truly special. The cultural sophistication blends French gastronomy with Caribbean ingredients and traditions. St. Bart's restaurants serve cuisine that would earn Michelin stars if they were in Paris, using local seafood, tropical fruits, and Caribbean spices prepared with French techniques. Your dining experiences involve world-class culinary artistry in settings where you can literally walk from your table to pristine beaches. From French sophistication to British colonial charm, our next destination shows how Caribbean islands can maintain royal connections while building thriving modern economies. Destination number 9, Cayman Islands, the financial services tropical paradise.
The Cayman Islands secure our number 9 position as the British territory that transformed from turtle fishing backwater to one of the world's largest financial centers while maintaining some of the Caribbean's most pristine marine environments. This trio of islands proves that offshore banking and environmental conservation can coexist when planning is done strategically. The financial services dominance is staggering economic transformation. Grand Cayman hosts more registered companies than residents, serves as home to hundreds of banks and investment funds, and processes financial transactions worth trillions of dollars annually. Your Stingray City snorkeling adventure is happening in waters surrounded by office buildings that facilitate more international business than most national capitals. The British Overseas Territory status provides political stability that underpins financial sector confidence. Cayman Islands maintain British legal traditions, regulatory frameworks, and international recognition while enjoying local autonomy over economic policy. It's colonial arrangement that benefits everyone. Britain maintains influence, Cayman Islands control their economy, and international businesses get stable jurisdiction with favorable regulations. The marine conservation success protects Caribbean biodiversity while supporting tourism economy. Cayman Islands created extensive marine protected areas, banned cruise ship anchoring on coral reefs, and developed sustainable diving practices that preserve underwater ecosystems. The famous Stingray City sandbar experience represents responsible wildlife tourism that educates visitors while protecting marine life. The economic diversification strategy reduces dependence on any single industry. Beyond financial services, Cayman Islands developed luxury tourism, marine research facilities, and technology services that create employment opportunities for residents while attracting international talent. They've built a knowledge economy that will thrive regardless of changes in global financial regulations. The infrastructure quality rivals developed nations despite tropical location. Cayman Islands maintain excellent healthcare, education, telecommunications, and transportation systems that support both financial sector operations and tourism industry needs. Your vacation involves experiencing first-world infrastructure in tropical paradise setting. From offshore finance to revolutionary heritage, our next destination shows how Caribbean islands can embrace their complex history while building modern democratic success stories. Destination number 8, Dominican Republic, the Caribbean's cultural and economic powerhouse. The Dominican Republic commands our number 8 spot as the Caribbean nation that shares an island with Haiti but created completely different economic and political outcomes, becoming the region's tourism leader while maintaining rich cultural traditions and democratic institutions. This Spanish-speaking republic proves that historical advantages plus strategic development can create Caribbean success stories. The tourism industry leadership dominates Caribbean vacation statistics. The Dominican Republic receives more visitors annually than any other Caribbean destination, offering everything from luxury resorts to adventure tourism to cultural experiences that show centuries of Spanish colonial heritage. Your vacation contributes to an industry that employs hundreds of thousands of Dominicans while funding infrastructure development that benefits the entire population. The cultural richness blends indigenous Taíno, Spanish colonial, and African influences into vibrant Dominican identity. Merengue and bachata music originated here and influenced Latin music worldwide, while Dominican cuisine, art, and literature represent sophisticated cultural development that rivals much larger nations. Your cultural experiences involve participating in traditions that evolved over 500 years of complex historical interaction. Ready for the absolute top tier of Caribbean destinations? Because our final entries prove that some islands manage to combine everything: natural beauty, political stability, cultural richness, and economic success into the ultimate tropical experiences. Destination number 7, Bermuda, the Atlantic Triangle of luxury and mystery. Bermuda sails into our number 7 spot as the British territory that somehow convinced the world that a tiny Atlantic archipelago 650 miles from the nearest Caribbean island deserves to be included in every Caribbean vacation discussion. This pink sand paradise proves that strategic location plus financial innovation plus mysterious reputation equals one of the most unique destinations in the Western Hemisphere. The geographical uniqueness sets Bermuda apart from every other Caribbean destination. Technically located in the North Atlantic, Bermuda sits alone in waters where the Gulf Stream creates a subtropical climate that makes tropical paradise possible at latitudes where most places are experiencing winter weather. It's like nature created a tropical experiment in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, complete with coral reefs that shouldn't exist that far north and pink sand beaches that look like they were designed by a fantasy novelist.
The Bermuda Triangle mythology adds delicious mystery to luxury vacation planning. While scientists have debunked the supernatural explanations, the legend of disappearing ships and aircraft has made Bermuda one of the world's most recognizable geographic locations. Your vacation photos are being taken in waters that have inspired more conspiracy theories than any other tourist destination on Earth. It's marketing genius that money can't buy. The British colonial sophistication creates Atlantic elegance that rivals European destinations. Bermuda's pastel-colored houses, manicured golf courses, and refined social customs reflect centuries of British influence adapted to Atlantic island living. The island maintains dress codes, afternoon tea traditions, and architectural standards that make it feel like a tropical version of the English countryside, except with crystal-clear waters and year-round sailing weather. The financial services industry dominance has transformed Bermuda into one of the world's major insurance and reinsurance centers. Despite having only 65,000 residents, Bermuda hosts hundreds of international companies that manage trillions of dollars in assets, making this tiny Atlantic island a major player in global finance. Your luxury resort vacation is happening in a jurisdiction that influences international business decisions and insurance markets worldwide. But if Atlantic mystery appeals to you, our next destination shows what happens when Caribbean islands master the art of cultural diplomacy and democratic stability. Destination 6, Barbados, the Little England that became the Caribbean's democratic beacon. Barbados rises to our number 6 position as the Caribbean island that achieved something remarkable: successful independence that actually improved life for citizens while maintaining international respect and regional leadership. This coral island nation proves that smart governance, plus cultural confidence, plus strategic location can create Caribbean excellence. The independent success story since 1966 represents one of the Caribbean's most impressive political achievements. Barbados transitioned from British colony to sovereign nation while building stable institutions, maintaining civil liberties, and creating economic opportunities that reduced immigration and attracted international investment. They've become the Caribbean Switzerland, politically stable, economically prosperous, and diplomatically respected by everyone. The recent Republican transition in 2021 demonstrated sophisticated constitutional evolution. Barbados became a republic and removed Queen Elizabeth II as head of state, in a ceremony that celebrated independence while maintaining Commonwealth membership and friendly relations with Britain. It's like the perfect diplomatic breakup, amicable, dignified, and beneficial for everyone involved. The cultural influence extends far beyond the island's small size. Barbados gave the world Rihanna, cricket legends like Sir Garfield Sobers, and rum production techniques that influenced Caribbean spirits globally. The island's cultural soft power creates international recognition that makes tiny Barbados more globally famous than countries with populations hundreds of times larger. The economic diversification has created Caribbean prosperity that other islands study and attempt to replicate. Beyond tourism and sugar, Barbados developed financial services, manufacturing, and technology sectors while maintaining agricultural heritage and environmental sustainability. They've built a knowledge economy that provides opportunities for educated Barbadians while attracting international talent and investment. The educational excellence produces outcomes that rival developed nations. Barbados achieved near-universal literacy, created university programs that attract students from throughout the Caribbean, and developed technical education that supports modern economic sectors. Your vacation is happening in a country that proves small island nations can achieve first-world educational and social outcomes through sustained commitment to human development. The diplomatic leadership makes Barbados a regional power broker despite tiny size. The island hosts international organizations, mediates Caribbean disputes, and maintains relations with major powers while preserving sovereignty and independence. They've turned diplomatic skill into strategic advantage that amplifies their influence far beyond their geographic limitations. From democratic beacons to cultural revolutionaries, our next destination shows how Caribbean islands can reshape global culture while navigating complex international relationships. Destination 5, Jamaica, the cultural superpower that gave the world reggae revolution. Jamaica commands our number 5 spot as the Caribbean island that punches so far above its weight in global cultural influence that most people forget it's a small developing nation rather than a major world power. This musical and athletic powerhouse proves that creativity plus determination plus distinctive identity can create international impact that transcends economic limitations. The musical revolution that started in Kingston literally changed global popular culture forever. Reggae music, pioneered by Bob Marley and other Jamaican artists, became the first third-world musical genre to achieve massive international success while maintaining political and spiritual messaging. Your vacation is happening in the birthplace of musical traditions that influenced hip-hop, punk, and popular music worldwide, while spreading messages of resistance, spirituality, and social justice that continue inspiring movements globally. The athletic dominance creates Olympic legend that defies population statistics. Jamaica consistently produces the world's fastest human beings, with Usain Bolt becoming the most recognizable Olympic athlete in history while representing a country of only 2.8 million people. The island's track and field success creates national pride and international recognition that generates more positive global attention than most countries' entire diplomatic efforts. The Rastafarian spiritual movement originated here and spread worldwide, creating religious and cultural practices that influenced millions of people globally. Rastafarianism transformed from local spiritual tradition to international movement that promoted African consciousness, environmental awareness, and alternative spirituality. Your cultural experiences involve encountering the birthplace of beliefs and practices that shaped counterculture movements throughout the developed world. The independence struggle and post-colonial development represent both Caribbean success and ongoing challenges. Since independence from Britain in 1962, Jamaica built democratic institutions and maintained political stability, while struggling with economic inequality and social challenges that reflect broader Caribbean development issues. The country's experience demonstrates both the possibilities and limitations of small nation sovereignty in the global economy. The linguistic creativity gave the world Jamaican patois and influenced English language evolution globally. Jamaican expressions, slang, and linguistic innovations have been adopted worldwide, making this small island a major contributor to international English language development. The tourism industry balance attempts to showcase cultural authenticity while providing economic opportunities for residents. Jamaica developed diverse tourism experiences that range from luxury resorts to cultural tours to adventure activities, trying to capture international visitor spending while preserving local traditions and providing employment for Jamaican citizens. But if cultural influence impresses you, our next destination shows what happens when Caribbean islands become the center of global geopolitical attention.
Destination number 4, Cuba, the revolutionary island that stopped the Cold War in the tropics. Cuba revolutionizes our number 4 position as the Caribbean island that became the center of global Cold War tensions, survived decades of economic embargo, and created one of the world's most unique political and cultural experiments just 90 miles from the United States. This Spanish-speaking island proves that small nations can influence global politics when they refuse to accept their assigned role in international power structures. The revolutionary history since 1959 represents one of the 20th century's most dramatic political transformations. Fidel Castro's revolution overthrew a U.S.-backed dictatorship and created a socialist state that defied American influence while allying with the Soviet Union, making tiny Cuba a major player in global Cold War politics. Your vacation involves exploring a country that brought the world closer to nuclear war than any other location in human history. The U.S. embargo relationship creates ongoing diplomatic drama that influences international relations throughout the Americas. Despite economic sanctions that have lasted over 60 years, Cuba has maintained political independence while developing healthcare, education, and cultural achievements that rival much wealthier nations. The island's survival under embargo conditions demonstrates remarkable resilience and alternative approaches to economic development. The cultural preservation and innovation flourish despite economic limitations. Cuban music, dance, art, and literature evolved under revolutionary conditions while maintaining connections to Spanish, African, and Caribbean traditions. Your cultural experiences involve encountering artistic creativity that developed in isolation from global commercial influences, creating distinctly Cuban expressions that influence international culture while remaining authentically local. The healthcare and education achievements represent socialist development successes that even critics acknowledge. Cuba developed medical and educational systems that produce outcomes comparable to developed nations while training doctors and teachers who provide services throughout Latin America and Africa. The island's human development indicators demonstrate that economic wealth isn't the only path to social progress. The economic survival strategies under embargo conditions forced innovation and self-reliance that created unique solutions to development challenges. Cuba developed organic agriculture, urban farming, and resource conservation practices that environmentalists worldwide study and attempt to replicate. The island's necessity-driven sustainability provides models for ecological development that transcend political ideology. The restoration of U.S. relations under Obama, followed by renewed tensions under Trump and continued complexity under Biden, demonstrates how Caribbean islands can become focal points for major power domestic politics. Cuba's relationship with the United States influences American presidential elections, congressional debates, and foreign policy discussions that extend far beyond Caribbean regional concerns. From revolutionary politics to Atlantic elegance, our next destination shows how Caribbean culture can thrive in the most unexpected geographic locations. Destination number 3, the Bahamas, the Caribbean gateway that masters American tourism. The Bahamas cruises into our number 3 spot as the Caribbean nation that transformed proximity to the United States into the ultimate tourism success story while maintaining sovereignty and cultural identity. This archipelago of 700 islands proves that strategic location plus smart marketing plus natural beauty equals Caribbean prosperity. The American accessibility makes the Bahamas the Caribbean's front door for U.S. tourists. Located just 50 miles from Florida, the Bahamas receives more American visitors than any other Caribbean destination, with cruise ships and flights making island hopping easier than traveling between some U.S. states. Your Nassau experience involves witnessing tourism infrastructure designed specifically to accommodate millions of American visitors while maintaining Bahamian cultural identity. The cruise ship industry dominance has transformed Nassau into the Caribbean's busiest cruise port. Multiple megaships dock simultaneously, bringing tens of thousands of day visitors who create economic opportunities while challenging infrastructure and environmental resources. The port area shows both the benefits and stresses of mass tourism, with duty-free shopping and cultural attractions existing alongside crowds that can overwhelm local systems. The out islands provide completely different experiences from the Nassau cruise ship scene. Islands like Exuma, Eleutherea, and Long Island offer pristine beaches, luxury resorts, and adventure activities for visitors seeking Caribbean authenticity without crowds. The famous swimming pigs of Exuma have become social media sensations, proving that even livestock can become tourist attractions when marketing is creative enough. The independence achievement since 1973 represents successful transition from British colony to sovereign nation while maintaining economic ties and cultural connections. The Bahamas built stable democratic institutions, developed tourism and financial services industries, and created employment opportunities that reduced immigration while attracting international investment and settlement. The country serves as a financial bridge between the United States and Caribbean, facilitating business throughout the region. The environmental challenges from climate change and tourism pressure create sustainability concerns that influence long-term development planning. Rising sea levels threaten low-lying islands, while tourism growth strains water supplies, coral reefs, and waste management systems. The Bahamas faces the challenge of maintaining tourism competitiveness while preserving natural resources that attract visitors. Ready for the ultimate Caribbean experiences? Because our top two destinations prove that some islands manage to combine everything: natural wonder, cultural richness, political significance, and pure magic into destinations that exceed every expectation. Destination number 2, Haiti, the revolutionary republic that changed world history. Haiti rises to our shocking number 2 position as the Caribbean nation that achieved the impossible. The world's first successful slave revolution that created an independent black republic in 1804, fundamentally challenging European colonialism and American slavery while establishing Haiti as a beacon of freedom that influenced liberation movements worldwide. This French-speaking nation proves that historical significance and cultural achievement can transcend current economic challenges. The revolutionary legacy represents one of history's most remarkable political achievements. The Haitian Revolution 1791 to 1804 was the only successful slave uprising that created an independent nation, with formerly enslaved people defeating French, Spanish, and British forces while abolishing slavery and establishing racial equality principles that were revolutionary for their time. Your visit involves experiencing the birthplace of ideas about human freedom and equality that influence global liberation movements. The cultural richness blends African, French, and indigenous Taino influences into vibrant Haitian traditions that include voodoo spirituality, distinctive art forms, and French Creole linguistic heritage. Haitian culture has influenced Caribbean music, religious practices, and artistic expression throughout the diaspora, while maintaining authentic traditions that survived centuries of political and economic challenges. The historical architecture in cities like Cap Haitien shows French colonial grandeur that rivals anything in the Caribbean, with the Citadelle La Ferrière representing the largest fortress in the Americas and a UNESCO World Heritage Site that demonstrates Haitian engineering and defensive sophistication. These monuments prove that post-revolutionary Haiti achieved remarkable architectural and military accomplishments despite international isolation.
The artistic achievement includes painters, sculptors, and writers who have gained international recognition while developing distinctly Haitian aesthetic traditions. Haitian art combines spiritual themes, historical narratives, and social commentary in styles that influence Caribbean and African American artistic development while maintaining local cultural authenticity. The linguistic contribution created Haitian Creole, a language that blends French vocabulary with African grammatical structures, becoming one of the Caribbean's most widely spoken languages and influencing Creole development throughout the region.
Your cultural experiences involve encountering language evolution that represents successful cultural resistance to colonial domination. The ongoing challenges require acknowledging that current political instability and economic difficulties make tourism to Haiti extremely challenging in 2025, despite its incredible historical and cultural significance. The country's struggles with governance, security, and infrastructure demonstrate how historical greatness doesn't guarantee contemporary prosperity, while its contributions to human freedom remain globally significant. And now, the moment you've been waiting for, the ultimate Caribbean destination that combines everything we love about island paradise with political complexity, cultural richness, and natural beauty that defies description. Destination number 1, Puerto Rico, the Commonwealth that bridges two worlds. Puerto Rico claims our number 1 spot as the ultimate Caribbean destination that offers everything: stunning natural beauty, rich cultural heritage, fascinating political complexity, American infrastructure convenience, and Spanish Caribbean authenticity, all rolled into one incredible island experience. This American territory proves that sometimes the most interesting destinations are the ones that exist in multiple political and cultural dimensions simultaneously. The political complexity creates unique travel opportunities that exist nowhere else in the Caribbean. Puerto Rico is simultaneously a Latin American island with Spanish as the primary language and an American territory where U.S. citizens need no passport, U.S. dollars are standard currency, and American legal and economic systems provide familiar frameworks for visitors. It's like having the best of both worlds: Caribbean cultural authenticity with American travel convenience. The natural diversity packs incredible variety into a relatively small island. El Yunque rainforest provides hiking through ecosystems that exist nowhere else in U.S. territory, while bioluminescent bays create magical nighttime experiences where water glows with natural light. The beaches range from Caribbean classics to surfing destinations, while the Central Mountains offer adventure tourism and agricultural experiences that showcase Puerto Rico's geographic complexity. The cultural synthesis represents 500 years of evolution that blended indigenous Taíno, Spanish colonial, African, and American influences into distinctly Boricua identity. Puerto Rican music, cuisine, art, and literature have influenced both Latin American and American culture while maintaining island authenticity. Your vacation involves experiencing cultural fusion that successfully preserves traditions while embracing innovation. The historical significance includes colonial architecture, Spanish fortifications, and cultural sites that tell the story of Caribbean colonialism, resistance, and cultural development. Old San Juan represents one of the best preserved Spanish colonial cities in the Americas, with fortresses that defended against English, Dutch, and American attacks while preserving architectural heritage that spans centuries. The economic integration with the United States provides infrastructure and services that rival mainland destinations while maintaining Caribbean costs and cultural experiences. Puerto Rico offers American healthcare, education, and legal systems with tropical climate, Spanish Caribbean culture, and island lifestyle that attracts both tourists and new residents seeking quality of life improvements. The ongoing political evolution keeps Puerto Rico at the center of discussions about sovereignty, statehood, and territorial relationships that influence American politics and Caribbean development. The island's political status remains unresolved, creating ongoing debates about independence, statehood, or enhanced Commonwealth arrangements that make Puerto Rico a living laboratory for territorial governance. The diaspora connections mean that Puerto Rican culture influences mainland United States through migration patterns that created significant Puerto Rican communities in New York, Florida, and other states. These connections create cultural bridges that make Puerto Rico simultaneously Caribbean and American in ways that enrich both experiences. And there you have it, the 30 most incredible Caribbean islands that prove paradise comes in every possible political, cultural, and geographical variation imaginable. From volcanic French departments to British offshore finance centers to American territories with independence movements, these destinations show us that the Caribbean is far more complex, fascinating, and politically diverse than any travel brochure could ever capture. The real takeaway here isn't just about booking your next vacation. It's about understanding that every single Caribbean island has layers of meaning that go way deeper than pristine beaches and tropical cocktails. When you know that Grenada survived American invasion, that Singapore-sized islands control maritime territories larger than most countries, or that some Caribbean territories are more French than France and more British than Britain, every sunset photo becomes part of ongoing historical and political narratives that span centuries. These islands prove that geography really is destiny, but human creativity, political innovation, and cultural resilience can transform that destiny in remarkable ways. Whether it's tiny nations that became global financial centers, colonial territories that maintained independence movements, or revolutionary republics that changed world history, the Caribbean teaches us that size doesn't determine significance and that the most beautiful places often have the most fascinating stories. The best Caribbean travel experiences come from understanding these layers, recognizing that your luxury resort vacation might be happening on an island that's simultaneously a European territory, a tax haven, a cultural powerhouse, and an environmental laboratory. The more you know about the political and historical context, the more meaningful every beach day becomes. So, which Caribbean destination surprised you the most with its political complexity? Have you ever accidentally vacationed in the middle of international territorial disputes or independence movements? Share your stories about discovering the unexpected depths beneath Caribbean paradise in the comments below. Smash that like button if this made you rethink everything you thought you knew about Caribbean vacation planning, and subscribe for more content that turns travel into education and geography into adventure. And remember, the Caribbean isn't just about escaping the world, it's about discovering how the world actually works when different cultures, political systems, and historical experiences all exist within a few hundred miles of each other. The next time you're sipping a piña colada on a Caribbean beach, you'll know you're not just on vacation. You're visiting one of the world's most fascinating laboratories for human political and cultural experimentation. Now that's what I call educated tourism.